Do you ever feel stuck in the rat race? Life doesn't have to be that way if you're willing to put in the work. In Bigger Vision, Chris Garrison helps you discover the keys to abundance, freedom, and personal growth that let you live the life of your dreams. And now, here's your host, Chris Garrison.
Welcome, everybody. You've made it to the Bigger Vision podcast. I am Chris Garrison, your host. Appreciate you guys tuning in. It has been a pretty crazy day for me today. It's a Tuesday evening. I'm behind on getting this podcast recorded because they do launch on Monday mornings, and I have to give my team adequate enough time so that they can get in there and do all of their editing and getting it all designed up so that they can put it on the platform that you're listening to. I do have a request. If you have been listening to me, or if this is your first episode to listen to and you find value in these, then please hop on whatever platform you're on. Give me a 5-star review. Write some words about your thoughts on the podcast, because when you do both of those, it helps boost me up the algorithm so that I can reach more individuals, have more downloads. And anytime that these systems see that they're liked, the content is being liked and appreciated, they push it out to more folks because that makes their platform more exciting. If you want to find more, you can check me out on Bigger Vision Facebook group. That's a community where we talk about mindset, business, and investing. And then if you want business particular investing, then you can reach out and check me out on Blue Collar Millionaire Facebook group, where me and Kevin Marin, my partner, are admins over that group. And we have lives every Tuesday at 11 Eastern with some pretty spectacular heavy hitters. And we talk about anything and everything business there, which kind of opens me up into what I wanted to talk about today. I don't have a particular topic. I just wanted to talk about life because I wanted to try this episode and just be real instead of throwing out techniques. I know some gold will be dropped in this podcast because anytime you speak from the cuff of your shirt, from your heart, from just being very transparent, it seems like that's the most content that hits home with people. And I guess I just want to start with, my background, where I came from. I grew up with dad that was very entrepreneurial. We did not lack in finances, but we did live a very modest and frugal lifestyle. We went through the drive-thrus, and in the drive-thru lanes, we would order the $1 burger, and then we would get the complimentary water, so the free water. And we never splurged on sodas, drinks. Occasionally, he would have a sweet tooth and want a milkshake, and we would ride through the Checkers, if y'all remember Checkers drive-through, and we would get the milkshake, and that was a treat. So any clothes that we bought, I wore nice clothes, but we did buy them in the off seasons. So I did grow up not in, lacking, but I grew up in an extremely frugal lifestyle. I went through my 20s, got married early, had kids early, too early in my opinion, didn't know myself, I feel like a fairly responsible person, but my home life wasn't a happy life with my new marriage and the kids. And so I struggled emotionally, I struggled mentally, and then I also struggled financially because of that. A lot of things I did wrong. And finally, I hit my 30s, and I just got tired of living a life of lack and scarcity, always in a place of need, financially, physically, emotionally. I mean, I was just a needy person because of choices that I had made in my life days prior. And I began to start to digest new content from people that were successful. And those people spurred me on to be a better businessman, a better entrepreneur, to make choices that would fix my financial situation so that I would be happier in life. Therefore, my relationships were better. For me, finances are a scale to identify success. And I feel more confident when I'm being more successful in business. Another thing that is a scale for me in success is when I am fit physically, and I feel more confident mentally when I feel fit physically. Therefore, I'm able to be more successful in business as well. And I've come to find I'm 38, turned 38 October the 15th. So not too long ago, about a half a month ago. And I've realized I started changing up my routines around 30. And I've gotten better and built off the top of my good actions, more good actions, and that has led to more success. And I'm starting to see a really big buildup of momentum. But I still struggle more often than I would like to admit with the idea of success, with being happy in what I'm currently doing. And when I'm not happy, it affects everything around. Now, I'm not saying I fall into depression, or no, it's nothing like I dealt with in my 20s, because I know I've got a great life. But there's still, I don't know if you call me an overachiever. I don't know if you individuals feel the same way, but when I hit success, I see others' success that is greater than mine. And let me define success for you in the terms that I'm speaking right now. I'm talking about accomplishments, mainly in a professional realm, your accomplishments. So, how big is your business? How much money do you have flowing in? How well have you built a team? How well have you scaled your business? How many investments you have? How free financially are you? How free in your time are you? These are the successes that I'm talking about that I measure myself against. Everybody's got their own successes and what their definition of success is, but this is mine. And I know there's a lot of psychological stuff that determines what people define success as. It's based off of, things that's happened in their life in the past and what they've been programmed to do. And I'm not trying to get into all that. I definitely get very interested about the psychology of humans and what drives our decisions and how, we are shaped and formed by our past experiences, but it doesn't define us as a person, because we can still implement new experiences as we move through our journey of life. But those are the things that help me define success. And so, I mean, at this point, I've got roughly somewhere around 60 units. I think that's close to 50 properties under management. Half of those are rehabbed and rented roughly. The other half I'm having to run through and rehab. I've got a business that's got a beautiful facility that I own that the business is in. I feel like a very recession proof business because we do disaster cleanup, and a lot of it is paid for by insurance, which is required anytime that you have a loan on a property. The banks are going to require that. So insurance, if they lose their money and go out of business, we're definitely in trouble as a whole in the economy. So we're all in the same basket. But outside of that, I don't see that happening. So I feel like it's a recession-proof business. We've got beautiful vehicles, equipment, up-to-date vehicles, team members that keep me from having to go out into the field and actually do the physical labor at this point. But I still find myself getting disappointed and struggling with the thought process of, why do I struggle hiring great people, and even at this point, finding new people to hire that fit our avatar, that fit our motivation and core values, and then building systems where we lack and keeping efficiency and quality. And so just these little things. And one way I help myself pop out of them is I do try to focus on what has been achieved. I sit here and I reminisce and go over, Chris, I mean, in the last year, you've got 60 units under management. In the past 5 years, you've been able to build a 7-figure business. You've got, a fleet of service vehicles, a beautiful facility, all of this equipment. And that's one thing I want to remind you guys as you move through your journey of life, is to reflect on what you have achieved often, because it promotes the gratitude. When you look at what you've achieved, it promotes gratitude, and gratitude promotes satisfaction. And I think there's a struggle between being satisfied and happy where you're at, and at the same time desiring more and desiring to go further in life. And that's one reason I like to keep myself in the rooms with really high achievers that have accomplished so much more than me, because it keeps me motivated to push. Because the mornings that I wake up and I don't want to go to the gym because I just want to sleep in, I know that if I do that several days in a row, that my confidence is going to stop dropping because I just don't feel as physically fit. And so I keep on my news feed and Facebook these physical fitness trainers, and I see their physique, and I know that the time has been put in for the physique to be built, and their confidence level that is there in their ability to build a body because they've been able to sculpt theirs the way they have. And so I remind myself, Chris, get up, go to the gym, because you don't want to feel that feeling of that lack that you're going to feel in a few days. And that's what drives me to get up and go do business. Is I don't want to feel that lack that I felt in my 20s. Whether it's right or wrong, I do not know. But I'm talking about just where I'm at. My journey of self-development, getting around the rooms with people that understand mindset, business, and investing, people that have already walked the path before me, and trying to absorb as much content as I possibly can. At this point, I'm trying to stay focused on what is bringing in the active revenue, which is my disaster cleanup company, because I got distracted with real estate and then it started suffering because it wasn't structured systematically, and personnel, the team wasn't what it needed to be for me to be as absent as I was. So I have plugged back in. We're back on a trajectory of growth. We're trying to play catch up. I feel like we're going to play catch up. Hopefully we'll even actually be bigger, have more, do better than what we did last year, but nothing like we should have if I would have been paying attention. They say what you focus on grows and what you pay attention to gets managed. And that's really truly the most truest statement I've heard, because I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen in my life with my disaster cleanup company. But having said that, I tend to notice the negatives, and I then get distracted when I try to fix the negatives, and it just, instead of having a solution, I end up with a complaint. And I think one of the things that we all should focus on is when we see there is a problem, eliminate the distractions and find the solution and then implement the solution. So many of us sit here and move through our life by we identify problems, then we might find a solution, but we never implement it, or we just sit on the problem and just like to discuss over and over and over again the problem. But here's the problem with that. You end up collecting several problems and they become weights on your shoulders, and then you start losing the happiness in your life because of all the problems you've carried around and procrastinated on fixing them. Whether it was you let yourself get distracted by not resolving those problems with a solution and implementing that solution, or you just decided to be brain dead and not surround yourself with a committee or enough of your own thought to be able to solve those problems and implement the solution that fixes it. And I would say that has been probably a very big thorn in my flesh, is because I will run. I mean, just move massively fast down the road. And then all of a sudden I've got several little issues, none of them that are unfixable. But I let all of these issues feel like, just weeds sitting in front of my eyes where I can't even see past them. And so then I will start to think about a solution on it, and then I'll lose focus and jump to the next problem, and then the next problem. And what happens is I will sit there and just mull over the same bullshit over and over again, and I become a complainer. And some of y'all that know me may not even identify the fact that that goes on, but in my head, that's what's going on. And then it affects my happiness. It affects my ability to be more creative. It affects my ability to be able to push, grow, and scale things like I know I'm talented to do. And we've got to make sure that we clear out the clutter. So when you have a problem that shows up in your life, find the solution and focus on implementing that solution, whether you delegate it off and you manage and make sure it gets done, or you do it yourself. Because as you move down the road, they're just going to collect, and they're like a blanket of weights that will crush you back to the floor, and you're not going to have the strength to be able to move with it. That's why relationships are so important and teams are so important, because it helps you delegate these off so that you can keep moving fast and you don't have to resolve every problem that comes into your life or your business. So that's kind of where my thought process has been. I took my whiteboard, and that was not mounted, and I mounted it in my office, and I wrote down, okay, Chris, what is your focus? So right now, my focus is personal branding, Blue Collar Millionaire Facebook group, which is also going to be a mastermind, Absolute Cleaning and Restoration, and then Bigger Vision Properties. And they're in order of importance to me. The reason why personal branding is so important is because I've seen the power of eyeballs. When you have a lot of eyeballs on you, it brings opportunity. And I've been able to source private money from my social media presence. I've been able to source credibility by showing what I'm involved in and what I'm doing. I've been able to source deal flow because people see what I'm involved in and what I'm doing. I've been able to impress and leave legacy by helping others through my content, because they're watching how I make decisions, what I do, and what I use to help me move forward in life and business and investing. So that's why personal branding is so important. And then Blue Collar Millionaire is a mastermind that I'll actually be able to make some money from as well, because I'm going to create a following by giving a lot of free stuff away and then doing masterminds and paid for more intimate kind of coaching, mentoring group that is more one-on-one, but it's more of like a group setting with me able to communicate on like a Zoom. And then the reason Absolute is in the third location is because it's running on itself. I don't have to be plugged in every hour of the day for it to generate revenue. It's definitely doing. I have to remind myself how grateful I am for the progress we've made in only 5 years and how I am so absent out of the business. But it's my active income. It's what supports my lifestyle. It's what allows me to pay for any editing and anything extra that might help me on my personal branding, that might help me on the Blue Collar Millionaire. It's what allows me to get to the mastermind so that I can network and grow my community and have the resources to connect others to and myself. So that's why it's third. And then Bigger Vision Properties, that's my investment. That's my future. That's slow money. That's stuff that's not paying me right now, because as I'm ramping it up, eventually I'll be able to live off that cash flow, and that will put me on my balance sheet instead of my profit and loss sheet. And my profit and loss is, my active income, so it gets taxed differently. My passive income gets taxed at a lower tax rate. So that's why I want to live off my passive income, because my tax liability will be smaller, which means the less I pay in tax, the more money I've got to reinvest in new assets. And that's the game that I see all of my friends playing that I have surrounded myself with that are 8, 9, 10 figure, earners in net worth. They have learned the art of building a team. They've learned the art of increasing their active cash flow and then investing it into assets that also give appreciation and cash flow. And they're building their net worth massively, because now they've got enough active income from their business, their W-2, whatever it is, to be able to invest into assets that appreciate and that also produce cash flow. So all of these things though have got my focus, and then I had to say, okay, what is the one thing that I can put my focus on that's going to help me do all of these things? And I decided, okay, documenting my journey about absolute cleaning and restoration and about my bigger vision properties that's shown me as a business person, an entrepreneur, an investor, which people are interested in watching. And then it's also showing me how I conduct myself as an investor with real estate and how I buy these properties, how I'm able to rehab these properties, what that looks like. And it gives knowledge to people. And now I'm able to brand myself. I'm creating business content for the Blue Collar Millionaire, and I'm working in my absolute cleaning and restoration business and producing extra cash flow and scaling it so people are just able to watch it like a reality TV show. Then I made it a step further and I said, okay, who is going to help me document this journey? Am I going to do this myself with the iPhone and then edit it at the end of the day and post all of these on all these platforms? So I decided, hey, I need a videographer. And most of the time, that's probably going to be me. But I also have an assistant that I just hired a few months ago that's doing fantastic. Shout out to Anthony Knight. He has definitely been a blessing in my life. And he'll be able to video some of this stuff. And then I have someone edit it so that they can make it look like something that you would want to watch. So I've learned, pinpoint your focus, write it down so that you can see it and stay focused, and then identify what is the one thing that's going to help you achieve all of those and the who that will help you achieve those. Because so many times we try to take on too much responsibility, which breaks our focus, and then we never become a master at anything. And I have too long been spinning my wheels in the mud and not becoming a master because I get distracted with opportunities. And as an entrepreneur, you are going to constantly see opportunities that's going to distract you from being a master at what you need to be a master at. So here's what I want to leave you with today. Get your focus clear. Get clarity on what you want in life. Write it down. Really put some thought process to this. You have to pull yourself away and get quiet for a second and think, what do I like in life? What is going to actually move the needle for me in life so that I can get what I like? So personal branding is going to move the needle for me. Blue Collar Millionaire is going to move the needle for me. Absolute is going to support me financially and give me content, my life content for my personal branding and Blue Collar Millionaire. Bigger Vision Properties is my retirement plan, and that is also going to give me content for my personal branding. So that's what I had to do is process through my brain. Where am I at today? What do I need immediately? And what I want in the future, and get very strategic about what I wanted. And then I had to decide who was going to be able to help me. Because if you're going to go after big dreams, you're not big enough to tackle them yourself. You have to build a team around you and bring them with you so that they can enjoy in the dream as well. And you've got to make sure that you're willing to make investments into that team so that you attract the high quality A players so that you will be able to rely and move on them and move much quicker down the journey of your life. And you will be able to bless others because they are able to tag on to your vision and be blessed and motivated by what you've been able to create in your vision. And they will be able to also accomplish their visions by walking the journey of yours. So I hope this has helped you guys today. Life is real. We all walk through the same problems. It's just at different levels. I mean, I heard about a month ago to where, a very successful multimillionaire was like, I got cash flow problems. I don't have enough money to keep buying real estate because I don't have enough money for the down payments. He said, I got the same problems the startup guys got. He said, we're all at different levels and we all move through the same problems. So just remember, you're not alone. Even these multimillionaires that have the yachts, the mansions, and the Lamborghinis and Ferraris and everything, they still have issues as well. You're seeing their highlight reels. Don't get distracted because of the highlight reels, and don't get depressed because of comparison. Run your own journey. Find out what's important to you, what makes you happy in life. And then what makes you happy in life, find out how to monetize that so that you can get paid doing it. And then make sure that you increase your active income so that you can invest in passive assets. And then these assets will build your net worth, and you will see 5 and 10 years down the road a massive change in your financial future and your financial situation. And you will begin to get at a place to where you can stop trading time for money, and you can start buying back your time by investing in assets and in team members. My team members at my company are assets to me because they buy my time back. My real estate is assets to me because they allow me to have time back. They pay me while I am sitting at the house sleeping because I've got someone else paying the loan, and inflation is increasing my appreciation on that home. And I'm building equity because my loan amount is getting paid by my tenant that is in that house, building, commercial building, whatever it is that you've got. This is why I do these things, because my ultimate goal is to be able to do what I want to do whenever I want to do it. And that doesn't mean that I'm going to sit on a beach and drink margaritas all day, every day. It means that I will have the flexibility to have creative thought time and be able to focus on how I can grow and better things, because whether you realize it or not, everybody is driven by being able to accomplish and build and better something. Most of us just don't know it because our time is so taken because we're distracted by everything else that doesn't matter. Until next time, I want you guys to live in success. Remember, leave me a 5-star review. Leave me some written review so that I can see your comments. And then if there's some topic you want me to speak about, please mention it in there and I will try to speak about it. Or if you guys want to hear some stuff from interviews, I'll bring on some people and we'll start doing some interviews so we can have some different conversations. I appreciate you folks. And until next time, let's grow together.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.